Today I'm testing the highest EMF devices in a normal house because most people don't realize just how much these gadgets are blasting them with radiation. And you might be surprised by some of the results.
All right, I got my well-behaved, very trustful assistants here to help me and keep me company while we do our test here. So this here is the EMF meter. I got it off Amazon. It was like 50 bucks. So this measures the radio frequency, the magnetic frequency, which are part of EMS, right? Electromagnetic frequency. So when I turn this on, there's two modes. We'll mainly be using the RF, which is the radio frequency. So I'll turn this on. As you can see here, it's got a dial and it shows the units at the bottom, microwatts per meter squared. And before I get into all the big items that would probably be common to you that we're measuring, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room, which is this microphone here, cast it to the camera, which is Bluetooth, unfortunately. I'm sacrificing some EMF exposure right now for you guys, but I'll even show you this is where it measures from here. I'll put it up to it, watch what happens. I'm cooked. So let me see if I can get a reading here. Yeah, so at least what's shown here went up to about 100 microwatts per meter squared. I don't know if it's showing in 100,000. I'm just going based off what unit it's shown here. This is probably very annoying, so I'm gonna turn the tick off and the beeping so we can measure in silence. But of course, first item we're gonna officially measure is the phone, because everyone has a phone and everyone carries around their phone. So right now I've got my phone in airplane mode. That's how I always carry it around in my pocket and stuff. So I'm not blasting myself with EMFs, but as you can see, when I put it up to this, there's essentially nothing. I'm trying to keep distance away from the mic so I don't interfere with it, but pretty much nothing. Now watch what happens right as I turn it off airplane mode. It skyrockets. I've played around with this before, so I know some things, but you're the first to see this, so watch. Skyrocketed. So it's not making that annoying tick number, but let's see what it goes to here when I can actually see the screen myself. So again, it's going upwards of 75 to 100. Like I said, I don't know if it's like 100,000 or like, because it only shows 4 digits here. So I'm assuming it's rounded or something like that. I'll show you here. Maybe this is better for you to kind of see. So right now I just have the Wi-Fi on. No, it's connected to the cell tower, but no data or anything. Still a good amount here, but the biggest thing, right when you turn off airplane mode, it's looking for the cell signal and trying to find the tower, right? So it just blasts in like all directions. So watch this. See, it just skyrockets for a second. But the biggest thing is if you switch to data as well, it's even stronger. See that? See, now you can imagine, I'm gonna do this for a sec with my phone just for the purpose of this video. Having it right up to your phone, let's say you're on a phone call for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. You do that twice a day, just repeatedly, or maybe you have like an hour-long conversation. It's just that exposure over time that compounds, and it's not good. There's literally studies of people just frying their brain and stuff. And Apple even has in their manuals and stuff like warnings and labels for the RF and EMF exposure and stuff. So having this right up next to my ear, you can see that screen, not good. Flashing up. I think it's interfering with the mic right now, but the phone, obviously not a good one, especially you're taking phone calls on this, you have this in your pocket next to your balls, you're having it on your nightstand while you're sleeping, messing up your sleep architecture. You know, you're not going to sleep as well. So I'm gonna put my phone back in airplane mode, and now we're going to test the good old MacBook here. I didn't play around with this too much, it's more so the phone, but we'll see what's going off here. Now this is different in the sense that it's not connected to a cell tower, it's just Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but surely there's still going to be some EMFs. Yeah, as I put it near the keyboard here, okay, look at this, I'll show you. Try and show you the units here. So I got some red around here. You know, just for the purpose, I'm gonna turn this back on so you can see. Yeah. So I have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on here. Trying to see what number we can get up to. So we got quite high there. If I was seeing correctly, it was like 130. Again, I don't know if it's 130,000 or what it is, but very high on the meter here. So again, the laptop, a lot of people are gonna have this, and if you're sitting there with it, as it says in the name, laptop on your lap, frying your nuts, you're there working for hours or watching YouTube, Netflix, whatever the case may be. They sell EMF blocking mats. I don't know how effective they are. I don't have one personally, but just use it on a table or a desk. Try and create more distance from the device to, let's say, your balls or whatever you're trying to protect, right? And now next item, I know this again applies to so many of you, wireless headphones, specifically AirPods. So these aren't mine, these are an old pair of my dad's that he's kept around. So they're not even connected. I gotta connect them in my phone here for a sec. I swear I'm putting myself at risk here for you guys. I'm frying my brain, frying my heart with this microphone. See, Apple does these little animations to make you feel special, make it seem a little cooler that you're frying your brain, if you will. Okay, so they're connected. We're going to put them in my ears, fry my brain for a sec. It's got that noise canceling, that's a bit weird. Okay, let's see with the EMF meter. Oh, as you can see, it's going up there. Maybe I'll turn the noise on so you can get a little scared. So the case, not too much off the case right now. Maybe when it's open. No. Okay, let's try the ears. Oh yeah, you can hear that. See with them off what they go to. 150. 150. That's crazy. And now it's not even playing anything, so I'm gonna try playing like a song or something like that and see if it goes up. That can't be good. That cannot be good. Frying my brain. I'm putting these away. They're bad for you. Like, okay, now I'm gonna turn my Bluetooth off and put my phone back in airplane mode. Turn that beeping sound off. And then we have the wired earbuds. USB-C end. I've had these for a minute now. I don't always wear them for all my workouts, usually just my upper body days. I find if I have my phone in my pocket, listening to music, it gets in the way on leg day, you know, with my hip crease closing and stuff. But now with the wired headphones, I'm gonna see what the EMFs are like on these. My guess is close to nothing because they're wired. Yeah, virtually nothing. Whatever's shown there is just, I guess, in the air and from the microphone I got here. Try and play some music. Nothing. Phone's in airplane mode. Nothing. So that's the method. Simple fix. Why would you fry yourself with these? I understand they're convenient. You don't want to wire in the way. You don't have to untangle stuff. But if you're using these, let's say for like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at the gym, or you use them for work a bunch for heck 8 hours a day, who knows what you're doing with them. But that exposure over time, again, you're just frying yourself. You got to ask yourself at the end of the day, is it worth it to have this convenience every day, which is almost a form of instant gratification? Or do you want brain cancer or some bullshit when you turn 50 or 60 years old and you live 20 years less, or your quality of life completely deteriorates, cuts in half? You know, maybe you're bedridden for the rest of your life. You know, I'm not trying to be too tinfoil hat here, but something to think about and consider, especially when it's something you're exposing yourself to pretty much every single day. I get it. You go outside the house, there's so many things out of your control, but this simple change to wired headphones, why would you not do that if you could save yourself and mitigate so much risk of getting some disease or illness because of this? You know, Apple has those warnings and stuff, may cause reproductive harm, EMF, RF exposure, blah, blah, blah. So why are you just like kind of brushing that off as if it doesn't mean anything? Of course, they're gonna put in the fine print so you can't read it too well, but it doesn't mean it's not of any value to consider, right? So that's it for the phone, the computer, the headphones right now. Now again, another thing that so many people have in their house is a Wi-Fi router. So I already know the results of this one, but I'm gonna show you guys anyways. I'll turn the beeping on so you know how bad it is. It's behind the couch here. I don't know how well you can see the Wi-Fi router, but look, I'm even this distance away and it's just going off like crazy. Now watch right when I put it next to it. Yeah. 130, 40, 50. Off the charts. That's all you gotta know, okay? And people will have the Wi-Fi router on all the time, maybe the room right next to them, you know, behind the wall of where they're sleeping, messing with their sleep, just frying them so many hours on end. You know, if you have the option to, you should definitely turn the Wi-Fi off at night. I don't know why you wouldn't. Obviously, I still live with my parents, so it's, you know, I can only suggest to them and try and get them to, but I don't have the right to just kind of go and do that. But again, they do have special things which you can buy. It's called the Faraday cage, I believe, where you put it on top of the Wi-Fi router. Maybe that's something I'll consider getting soon, just to make upgrade. So again, it almost like encapsulates the EMFs within the cage without having to turn the actual Wi-Fi off, because then you could still use like Ethernet and other stuff like that. But I want to show you another thing. So on the way to the basement here, you saw the Wi-Fi router was just behind the couch there. So if I go, don't mind the mess, if I go down the basement here, that's actually where we have the fiber optic going in on the other side there. But even through the wall here, okay, you can measure it. Where is it? Somewhere here. Turn that beeping back on. I don't know exactly where it is, somewhere on the other side of this wall. Yeah, you can hear that. Anyways, point of that is don't think that a wall is going to be your Lord and Savior and protect you from the EMFs, okay? It's going everywhere. I almost forgot we gotta test the microwave, of course. So I got a bowl of my dog's food pellet slop here, which isn't the best for him, but we're gonna put that in the microwave. I don't know what else to put. I don't even know if it's bad, if you should be turning your microwave on without anything in it, but about to find out here. Let me get the meter. Turn that on, I don't know, let's say 20 seconds. Oh yeah, there we go. Are we surprised? 170, 180. Stop that. So now just picture having two mini microwaves, aka AirPods, in your ears 24/7 at the gym, working, doing a bunch of bullshit. Like the proof is in the pudding here. So that's it for the test. I was going to do testing like the Bluetooth of my phone connected to my car, but weather's ass and you know, I'm kind of lazy to go outside to be honest. But you get the gist of it. Simple things to change, you know, what the repercussions are of having so much EMF exposure. So a few takeaways I want you to have here is one, having your phone in airplane mode. You got to be doing that. And I'm going to show you quickly here what to make sure you have on/off, because it doesn't always do it properly when you just click it. So I'm going to turn this back on here. So obviously you're going to have the data off, but let's say you go in your control center here and you tap Wi-Fi to turn that off. I held it. You just tap it. See how it's now white instead of being grayed out? That white there just means that it's going to disconnect your Wi-Fi. So it's still broadcasting and receiving Wi-Fi signals as it's searching. Right? So if I go like this, it's still searching. So you have to do that manually in the Wi-Fi settings like this, turn off. So now it's actually off. And the same thing for Bluetooth. So if I open this back up and I tap Bluetooth on, and now I tap it off, same thing. See how it's white? That means it's just disconnected from any Bluetooth devices, but the receive and send signal is still on. So again, you have to go into the Bluetooth settings and turn that off. Or you just turn on airplane mode like that. So I also made a shortcut here called set Bluetooth. So as you can see, Bluetooth is off when I do this, Bluetooth on, and then rather than pressing the Bluetooth and have it go white, I press this again and the Bluetooth actually turns off. So I'll show you how to do that. Go into the Shortcuts app, plus, Controls, and then Connectivity, and you do Set Bluetooth. And then you would then choose to have that shortcut in your control center. I'm not going to show you a full tutorial here. That's pretty much how you do it. So that's how you dial in your phone, pretty much airplane mode and Bluetooth properly off rather than just disconnecting. And then the next takeaway here is, I don't know if you'd call this an upgrade, a downgrade. I mean, you're losing out on the convenience of wireless headphones, but you're upgrading in terms of EMF exposure to something that's not as bad. Just the wired headphones, man. And they actually have a pretty solid mic in them too. So if you're taking phone calls and stuff, you use this. And you can either get the Lightning or USB-C ones. But 25, I think Apple hasn't raised the price on them in ages. It's $24.99 Canadian, probably like 15 or 20 USD. But why would you not do that? Literally a fraction of the cost of AirPods to improve your health. Like, it's an investment in your health, but your return on that investment is gonna be so much more than AirPods. But yeah, those are pretty much the main takeaways of the video. You know, the phone and the headphones, those pertain to so many people. Your average Joe, right? Everyone has these. But even the other things, try and mitigate your EMF exposure as best you can. Now that you know how prevalent that they actually are. Comment what you want to see me make a video on next. And if you want to take your physique, your health, your lifestyle, and your mindset to the next level, click the link in the description and apply for my one-on-one coaching, and we'll see if you're a good fit. See ya.